Hi everyone, welcome back to a small engine repair tutorial. Today we have our first mailbag. It's a carburetor of a Rryobi RLT254CDSO sent from Paul from Newtown, Ipswich, Queensland. How are you there in Ipswich? And let's have a look what's inside. So this is a carburetor that he wants us to fully rebuild. Okay, thanks Paul for the return postage. We will send it back to you tomorrow. Okay, so what we have here is, so this is his original carburetor of RLT254CDSO, and this is the one that he purchased from us. Unfortunately, it's the pulse hole is a bit different, so it's slightly different. So the one that is he purchased is the pulse hole is on the left hand side, while the original is on the right hand side. So unfortunately it won't fit straight away, so you send it back for us to rebuild, and he returns the one that he purchased from us. So today we're going to fully rebuild this carburetor, and let's have a look and what parts to replace, and hopefully Paul will also take a video during the fitting, during installing this one when he received the item. Otherwise, if not, that's fine. So let's rebuild this carburetor. Let's get started. Okay, let's open this one and we'll have a look what kit we need to replace. Okay, let's remove this part here. This is the primer bulb. This is primer base assembly, and we have this metering gasket, and it fused with metering diaphragm, so it's really stiff. And we have this metering base assembly, fuel pump, diaphragm, we also need to replace, and also the fuel pump gasket. It's already fused to that carburetor body, and it will be difficult to remove, but we will remove this one eventually. And also with the rotary throttle bulb, we also need to remove. In order to remove this one, to access this screw here, we need to slightly undo this one. This one is a Pac-Man type screw, so it would be really difficult to unscrew this one. If you can hold this one really firmly to undo it. Just enough to get this one away from blocking that screw, so we can access that. So that's great. So far so good. And then remove the the throttle valve. So we have this manifold O-ring. This is the air manifold O-ring. There's the pulse hole, which is opposite to the one that's we sent to him. So if you come across with this metering diaphragm and metering gasket fused together, and you're wondering, you can't compare with this with available diaphragm or gasket because it looks different, that's because there's two things fused together, and you need to separate them in order to see the difference. So we will do that. Okay, so there's two parts. You can see that the diaphragm on the bottom part, so in the top part where it's positioned like this, you can just separate this from the gasket. See, can you hear that? It's really stiff. It has to be flexible, soft, in order for the metering diaphragm to work properly. So that's metering diaphragm, and there's a metering gasket. And the pump gasket, we also need to remove this one. It's really sticking to that carburetor body. So we'll try to carefully remove this one to minimize cleaning if possible. But we can't really avoid anything that stick into the carburetor body, so we will clean that one later with steel brush. Okay, it's pretty much removed, and then we need to clean all the remaining gasket that stick into the carburetor body. Okay, it's pretty much removed. Most of the gasket stick into the carburetor body, so we can clean this one. Okay, it's pretty much partially clean, so we have to remove all the small parts, including the metering lever, spring, needle valve, or the metering pin, and also the jet. So remove the jet. Let's take the jet out, and we have this old O-ring that we are going to replace as well, and that's the O-ring. Okay, so we'll clean that one, and also the metering part assembly. Just undo that screw, and then hold the metering lever, gradually release, because there's a spring, and make sure that we don't lose this one, because we don't have the replacement for this, so we can still reuse that. We just need to clean the metering pin, metering lever. We have to reset this one as well, and needle valve. Okay, so maybe it's best to completely take the screw out so we can fully clean. So we need to use a steel brush to remove all the gaskets remains on the carburetor body, and also the mesh. We have to remove the mesh as well. This one is a little bit of overlap there, which shouldn't be, but anyway, was not originally was not installed properly, so we have to install this one properly. It should be sitting properly on the bottom. We'll fix it later. And also the check valve. Oh, surprising that the check valve. Can you see that? Can you see the hole? That check valve disc is missing. There should be a check valve disc here. So what happens if we'll test this one? The check valve disc part here should allow only a fuel from going that direction. So it prevents the fuel from going back into the metering side assembly. So we'll have a look what happens. See that fuel is going through. And also if we apply from this side, oh, surprising. That's very tricky. So I thought there was no disc inside, but actually there is. It's a transparent disc. So it's working okay. So it should allow the fuel from going that direction and prevents the fuel from coming back on that direction. Okay, well, my apology for that, but at least we know. Okay, let's clean all this and let's get the rebuild kit and let's get started. Okay, to clean this one, I have this another container here. I used a shell light. And we place the parts inside for cleaning. So we have another clean container here for the clean parts. So we will clean the larger parts of the carburetor first. Okay, and we'll clean this one first. So this part here, we don't want to use the steel brush to clean this one because it will damage the surface, the finish. So we'll just use the used toothbrush to clean this part here. So using a peg, or we call it toothpick, so the pointed part just clean through that seat. the flat part, just clean it. Clean all the small nozzles. Avoid blowing compressed air straight into the check valve. This will damage and blow off the disc away off, and you'll get stuck. So avoid doing that. Okay, so just to put it away. Next part is this one. So this is pretty much clean. So just use the toothbrush to clean it. The good thing with the Shellite is it doesn't damage the gloves, the natural gloves, and unlike if you're using the direct contact with carpet cleaner, it will just disintegrate straight away. It depends on the quality of the natural glove, but most of the natural gloves will just don't survive with carpet cleaner. But still, we can't avoid getting in contact with the carpet cleaner with the gloves, especially when holding the carburetor and spraying all the nozzles. So, but we have to do it. Okay, let's clean all the jet nozzles. This part here. Okay, this part here, you can blow this one with the compressed air. Okay. Okay, we'll just clean the rest of the parts. Okay, to clean the small parts, we just use the T-strainer with the steel wool inside and place the small parts inside the T-strainer to check the needle valve, the measuring lever, the spring, the screw, the jet, measuring pin, and possibly the strainer. So for the screw, we clean this one separate because it's likely to damage the spring if we put them together. So just dip onto the cleaner and shake. Then with the compressed air, Okay, and so you have to also to clean the jet using a tip cleaner. This is also available in our EB store or Vtech website. This is very essential for cleaning very tiny nozzles and holes. So just find the right size. That will go through the jet, the nozzle or the hole. So none of these will fit. So, but still, you can also use this one for other things, especially with a bigger size pinholes. But for now, we will get the guitar string to clean this one. So I'll use the smallest guitar string. And clean the rest of the screws. To rebuild this carburetor, I use Walbro D11-WYL gasket and diaphragm kit. So we'll take parts out. Okay, let's compare this one and check which one is suitable or the same. So the pump gasket, so the metering gasket, yep, the metering diaphragm. So make sure that this rivet on the middle in the same height, and it doesn't matter whether that is different from this, as long as the same, pretty much the same mounting. So that's fine. And we have this jet o-ring, which we also have one in here, so we use that. And the air cleaner manifold o-ring, so we also have one, we use that. And the pump diaphragm, so the pump diaphragm here that we're going to use is, we use the rubber, whereas the original one is it's made of film. Possibly this is mica or a different type of film. So we use the rubber and it should be fine. And let's rebuild this one. First is we have to assemble the metering part side. So just place the metering lever in the metering pin. You have to place a spring here, and we have this needle valve and slowly place this one through that. Make sure to align the spring into that metering lever and hold it in place, and place the screw. And need to secure this one. Okay, now it's good. Tight a little bit, just enough. Since this carburetor is similar to a Walbro WT type carburetor, so for measuring the metering the lever, I have to use the WT and have to line it up right here. So now I can see that the metering lever is a little bit out or up, so that's heating. So I have to push this one down. So to push this one down, you need to hold this part here while pushing this the lever down, and double check. Still hitting. Just about it. It's not bad. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so the mesh, you have to place the mesh. So you can use any flat round drill bit with the same size of this one, or just use the tweezer and just push, as long as you push from this on all sides. But this one, because this it's a hard and very thicker type of mesh, it's likely that it would be difficult to push this one with the tweezer, and is we're likely to make a hole instead. So I might use this tip of the long nose plier. Okay, so that's it. And now it's pretty much, you cannot see any of the mesh just going past that shiny surface there. That's the idea. So and then the next one is the jet. So we'll grab the o-ring and place the o-ring to the jet. And just push it in. Now it's pretty much assembled, and check valve of the pump check valve also, you have to push this one back. Make sure that's sitting flat. Okay, so first is we need to grab the fuel pump gasket first. Place the fuel pump gasket. So here, now you notice that the fuel pump gasket hole in the middle is smaller than the original one. So if you compare the hole there, it's smaller. So this diameter here, because we don't have available similar type hole, gasket, so we have to increase this one. This is 2.5 mil, so we're using the puncher with the smallest punch hole with 2.5 mil at least. So all you need to do is hold the old lines up the old gasket on top of the new one. Make sure you hold it firmly and punch it through that old one. So now they're pretty much on the same hole diameter. So now place this one on top of that, just like that. Then the diaphragm. And place the metering side. Then make sure to place the metering gasket first. Observe the right orientation. Then the metering diaphragm, make sure that this part here where the rivet is facing downwards. Then the pump assembly. Primer bulb. So the primer retaining plate. Then just secure this part here. First, place all the screws. So just screw it manually first before you can use the power screwdriver, just to make sure that it won't cross thread. So we need to tighten this one manually and tie it from there across in the side, then across. Just repeat this one until it's okay. So now we have to install we need to observe the orientation for this one, because this one's towards the engine. This is towards the air filter. Normally the throttle cable is, the control is that direction. It's going this side here. Okay. So this one, I need to screw this one back to the original position. So this one must lines up with the middle of the screw. So just hold this one. I don't have the special tool with me here, so I'm just doing this one to make it more quick and easy. So that's about that. Okay, since I don't have the engine to test the carburetor if it's working, I have to make sure that we have to test this one for using a leak detector test before I send it to Paul. So first is the intake. Here I need to test for puff of valve test. So close this one. So the puff of valve test is you apply the pressure roughly 10 psi or 5 psi to start with, and you should hold the pressure right there. It only releases the pressure when you press that primer bulb, or you increase the pressure until it pops off the needle valve. So we'll increase this one maybe up to 15 psi. That's quite high already at 20 psi. Maybe we won't go that far, so just I should release that pressure. So that's pretty much good and it's working. So 10 psi, just keep it there and should hold the pressure. So now it started to release the puff of bulk. So just release the pressure, but when you place into the 5 psi, it should hold that pressure there. Different type of carburetor, sometimes when you pass 10 psi, it starts to puff off the needle valve and the pressure starts to drop. So this is the case with this type of carburetor. Okay, so now I'm happy with that and it's all good. So now we have to test on the return nozzle. To test on the return nozzle, so we have to press the primer and it will increase the pressure while pressing the primer bulb, and it should hold so roughly at 5 psi as well. So it doesn't hold, so possibly this air here is not sealing properly, so we change the fuel hose. So we still have a problem, still not holding the pressure when you press the primer. So we have to troubleshoot this one. So I have here so water, so we place this one, submerge this one in the water, and we'll see where that leaks coming from. Oh dear, the primer base assembly is not good. Then now we have to place the new one. So we place this one here and we'll try to pump. Just have to close this one. Ah, beauty. It's working. Fixed. So that's how you test the pump side or the return side. Now we have to test the intake side again. Close this and we pump this one. 5 psi should hold the pressure. Good. Increase. Good. Then just to drop the pressure. And for final, we'll check this one again. Once all good, then we send this one to Paul. Perfect. Yeah, thanks for watching, and that's all good. And hopefully we'll get a video from Paul when he installed this one. If not, that's also fine. Then we'll get this one delivered tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Here we packaged the carburetor and ready for posting. So we'll post this one tonight, and hopefully this will be picked up tomorrow. That's great. We still have our eBay sticker. So we'll send this one to Paul. That's all good.